Let's get started. Okay, good evening, everybody. And if you could make sure, your commissioners can make sure their mics are where they can be heard. I'm one of the worst offenders of that. So, this is the Hyannis Main Street Waterfront Historic District Commission. It is November 1st, 2023, 6:30 p.m. Actually, it's about 6 minutes further into that. We had some difficulties. And anyway, to all persons deemed interested or affected by the Town of Barnstable's Hyannis Main Street Waterfront Historic District Commission ordinance under Chapter 112, Article 3 of the Code of the Town of Barnstable, you are hereby notified that a hearing is being held at Town Hall 367 Main Street, Hyannis, Mass. Selectmen's Conference Room, 2nd floor, 6:30 p.m., Wednesday, November 1st, 2023. This meeting of November 1st, 2023 is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government Access Channel. In accordance with MGL Chapter 30A, Section 20, the chair must inquire whether anyone else is recording this meeting, and if so, to please make their presence known. I take it that's a no. Could everyone please be sure they silence their cell phones, put them on vibrate, whatever it is you do. I am going to call the meeting to order. We have had three commissioners who will not be with us tonight. Commissioner Crowley, Commissioner Hinckley Needham, and Commissioner Kay. Otherwise, Commissioner Matthew Clark.
Here.
Commissioner Laura Cronin.
Here.
Commissioner Tom Doherty.
Here.
And myself, Cheryl Powell is here, and Commissioner, you're down there under alter. Commissioner Kevin Matthews.
I'm here.
Thank you. I knew I had 5 here. Okay, so welcome to everyone. We don't have any town council liaisons to thank for coming tonight, although they're usually wonderful about that. Nothing on trainings or awards. Remind people, if you have not done your conflict of interest training, to please do so. And if you have any questions on that, or if you're not sure if you're up to date or not, please contact Cynthia Lovell. No correspondence to be read out beforehand, and I don't think there's any with regard to the applicants either that I received. Don't have to go over purpose and proper procedure. We did that last time. So, first is continued business, Harborview Hotel Investors, LLC, 213 Ocean Street, Hyannis, map 326, parcel 035, with regard to roof, windows, and siding. Would you please, as somebody's representing that, come up and sign in, please? Good evening.
So we've done a few renovations on 213 Ocean Street over the past few years. This is our current remodel renovation project, which is what they call the 50s building, which I think is the oldest section of the Hyannis Harbor Hotel. And we would like to replace the windows, siding, railings, also alter the existing roof, which is a flat 50s style shed roof, and make it a gable, more traditional style roof. And we have, we originally submitted plans. It was over the allowed height at 36 feet 11 inches. So we brought that down from now down to an 8 pitch. So we're at the 35 foot height mark as required. I don't know if anyone has any questions or.
Did you want to go over the new pictures with us?
Sure.
Does everyone have a copy?
Yes.
Good.
So the revised, I'm not sure which one, there's 2 different sets. You have
There
that
are
one, I
two.
have that one as well, so, okay. In this section here. So the front facade, which is on the 817 revision, I think everyone has that. So that depicts the roof structure there as the new gable-style roof. There's also photos included in here.
The 817 that we have is slightly different.
That one there, okay. Yes, there's also, I have that one too. I think it's in the back section of that.
Okay.
The plans that you have in front of you now, that is for the cupola section in the middle, which we propose redoing that. It's right now, it's currently open, kind of see-through, so they wanted to put fixed windows in there, along with copper roofing and sidewalling to match the rest of the area, which is on that front photo there. The next page, you can kind of see on the left-hand side, top photo, is the current flat roof structure that's there now. And we propose turning that into a gable style roof. A lot of these middle section windows and doors, this was on a separate application, so that's already been completed. Page R1.3 shows again the new gable roof structure, as well as the revised cupola area in the kind of the triangle of the that's in the back section of the hotel on the right-hand side.
Go on.
So the 50s building area kind of starts at this top photo here. You can kind of see. Right, exactly. From here forward. So it's the second roof over to the front of the street facing 213 Ocean. That is what's considered the current renovation. The rest of that back section has already been completed in that area.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
I have questions, but I always leave myself to last. Commissioners, any questions on the presentation? for
I'd
clarification?
just like to say, I think everything you've done on this building so far is beautiful.
Thank you.
I love especially that you take all sides of the building, and you make every side, the back, the front, you know, everything is pristine. I think these improvements are, again, right along the lines of everything you've done, I think is beautiful. It's the essence of Cape Cod. It enhances that whole area, and I love what you're doing.
All right, thank you, Tom.
Thanks.
Commissioner Matthews?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with Tom more. I think these renovations look fantastic, especially I love what you did with the new cupola area and how you pull the roof back there and let those decks shine under the sun. I think that looks fantastic. One question, that Hyannis Harbor Hotel sign, is that going to stay, or are you going to change that as well?
I believe the sign is going to stay.
Okay. It looks great. I just wanted to know if you were thinking about changing.
Yeah, I think it has been recently updated.
Okay.
We updated
Actually
it to,
approved
yeah,
that.
open year-round, I think you put down.
Yeah, it looks, again, I think it looks very good.
I echo those, and especially where it is within the height requirements within the zoning, so it's very good. Shows what can be done with quality as well. I just had a question on the roof color. Is it the red? Is it going to stay the
It's
red?
similar. It's called burnt sienna, which is on the rest of the roof now. I did bring so this is the color here on the right-hand side.
Okay, that looks better than that. The red. The other color is on the shingles. It says they are white.
The shingles are actually, so there's clapboard. The front is going to be shingled, so that is going to be, it shows gray in the photo, but I believe they are going with the same color as the rest of the hotel. The clapboard currently is Navajo beige, and I believe they want to do those front shingles in the same color treatment.
So they would be the Navajo beige, and the other buildings would be in gray. Are they gray?
The other buildings are all in the Navajo beige currently.
Oh, okay.
So they will, and I'm not sure, I think they do spec on that front if they have it as the gray, just to give it a little contrast. Let's see that. So they have it listed as shingle siding, so I believe that is the, like a Cape Cod gray style, yes.
The Cape Cod gray. And then you'll have that other. So the rest of it.
The other color, just to give it a little more, variation and pop to it.
No more questions.
No? Okay. Any others before I have a couple? Okay. I wanted to also clarify the colors on that. So it'll be the Cape Cod gray on that front part, and the rest is all the clapboard and the beige, correct?
That's correct, that's what I believe, and I'll verify if there's any changes on that, but I believe that's what it is.
Okay. And the roof, the gabled roof, that it is increasing the number of stories, it's just the roof that's changing. You're not putting an
Correct,
extra
so
half
right now,
story up there or anything.
the bedrooms are the exact same number that are
Yeah.
there. It's right, there's just going to be a cathedral on the inside, so
Okay.
the roof is just coming up, but there's no change to rooms or like, rooms aren't getting bigger or anything like that.
Okay.
They will stay as is.
So I'm going to turn it over to Jim for staff to just clarify that everything meets with all the ordinances, guidelines, and we're not rewriting or re-establishing the wheel or taking spokes out or anything.
Yep. So I have worked with the applicant on this revision here to meet the heights that previously were just over the limit. So we appreciate the revisions there. Asked the applicant to work with the building department to confirm on zoning compliance, and everything seems to be squared away. In terms of design guidelines, as you guys kind of pointed out, it really checks all the boxes in terms of our design guidelines. So I have nothing further on this one.
I appreciate that. I thought it did, but I just wanted to verify it. Okay,
Just go ahead, I'm
Commissioner
sorry,
Doherty.
Eddie, are you the architect or the,
No, I work for Meager Construction,
Oh,
so we do the work, perform the work. We've done most of the phases. There was another builder involved in the middle section there, but we've done most of the phases at the Hyannis Harbor Hotel. So I'm representing Meager and also the Harborview Hotel investors.
Commissioner Clark, you looked like you had a question there for a second.
No, I didn't. I just, I didn't realize how dated it looked until I saw the update. So
Especially now that we've revised the rest of the
Yeah.
building, it
flat-
really dates
flat
that area
roof.
for
Yeah,
sure.
no, it does. It looks like something out of a movie.
architect on this? All right.
The architect is Cordston Design Architecture.
The bottom left-hand
Yeah,
corner.
so they're out of Middleton, Rhode Island.
Oh, okay, I see.
Okay, and no other questions from the commissioners on the presentation? So I'm going to open it up to public. I will leave it open to public until we go to motions. We've already heard from staff. So what do you think about it? I think we've all pretty much voiced already, but it's a procedural next step. That's a yes?
Yes.
You're okay with it? Yeah? Okay, in that case, I will close it to public comment and ask if one of the commissioners would like to make a motion on the findings.
I will. I'd happily move that the commission find this application to be compatible with preservation and protection of the district at 213 Ocean Street, Building A.
I second that.
Commissioner Cronin?
Aye.
Commissioner Matthews?
Aye.
Commissioner Clark?
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty?
Aye.
I also say aye. Would a commissioner like to make a motion on the certificate of appropriateness, please?
You're on a roll, Tom.
Just been volunteered.
I move to issue a certificate of appropriateness for the application at 213 Ocean Street, Building A, as described in the submitted materials.
I second that.
Commissioner Doherty?
Aye.
Commissioner Clark?
Aye.
Commissioner Matthews?
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin? I also say aye. Congratulations. And thank you for working with us on that and making more than suitable changes.
Sure, no
It
problem.
really does look good.
We appreciate it, and I know Islands is up next. We just finished the renovations on that storefront area, and that looks very nice too. So we'll keep going, and hopefully we make everyone happy. Appreciate your time.
Nice
Terrific.
job. Thank you very much.
Boy, I wish they were all that easy.
Oh, that was well presented as well, by the way. All right. So,
Somebody call Jack and let him know it was quick. He'll be upset.
now. Next up, new business. Islands, Cape Cod, DBA Islands, 585 Main Street, Unit 1, Map 305, Parcel 115, with regard to a sign. Is that you?
That's me.
If you could come and sign in, please. Next time, I'm going to sit down at the other end just to confuse everybody.
We'll have to move into the big hall. I mean, we won't know what to do.
Tell us a little bit about your project.
Alrighty, so As you guys just heard, and I think I was here last month for Jewel Craft, the front facade of the building is getting redone. And in the process, Islands wanted to get their sign redone as well. The material that's being used is 3/4 inch PVC. All the individual letters, the little squiggly line and the palm tree fronds are all going to be carved out of 1/2 inch PVC. They're going to be screwed to the sign. The background, it's hard to depict it. It's not going to be yellow. It's going to be exactly what it was before. So if you look at I think you guys have a existing one. It's kind of got like a sand feel to it. That's going to be a vinyl print, and then all the letters are going to be painted. Yeah, and it's a little bit smaller than it originally was, so it conforms to the 20 square feet for Hyannis.
Okay. Is that the end of your presentation?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay. So, commissioners, any questions on the presentation, please?
The color of the building, that was all changed. Is this the new color, or was it more beige?
That's the old color. The new color, I believe, is either white or
Yeah.
beige.
Beige.
Yeah, it's. I don't have a picture of because I think it just got finished, and they're waiting on electricians to do all the gooseneck lighting on it. But I was there last week, and I think it's like a white or an off-white.
I thought. So I have no problems with the sign. I think the sign is fine.
I just wanted to comment that I'm glad to see that it is going to be carved out lettering because the existing sign has that 3D dimension to it.
Oh, I actually apologize. It's not going to be carved. They are going to stay the 3D. My apologies. The letters
I
themselves.
mean, the
are carved.
3D, right? So it'll look like a 3D.
Yes, so the
folk.
letters will
Yeah.
sit on top of the sign itself. It's not going to be carved into the sign. I apologize on that.
But it is, because I think that has a good dimension to it, and rather than just having a plain PVC, replacing it with something that's similar there now. I like that.
Any other commissioner with comments? Or questions, rather, on the presentation?
Oh, no, I have no questions.
All right, so I'm going to open it up to public comment for all the people waiting here for public comment. Staff report?
Nothing further on this one.
And it meets all the requirements, checks all the boxes, okay?
Exactly right.
So, discussion amongst commissioners, what do you think about it?
I think it's great. Fine.
Fine,
Great.
yeah.
I would like to pin down the colors, that it's either white or beige, so if we just put in any motions that it will be the white or beige, since it's not stipulated
It was
on here.
already approved what we approved.
Oh, it's already what, it is.
The building has nothing to do with me. That was
Yeah, it came before,
In that case, we're
already all
good.
done.
yeah, it
Okay.
came before us a few months ago.
No, I knew that we had, but I wasn't sure if we're just changing it or not. Okay, so in that case, I am going to close public comment, and I'm going to ask for one of the commissioners to please make a motion on the findings.
Sure, I'll do that. I move that the commission find this application for 585 Main Street to be compatible with the preservation and protection of the district.
Second.
Thank you. And it's seconded by Commissioner Doherty. All right, Commissioner Doherty.
Aye.
Commissioner Clark.
Aye.
Commissioner Matthews.
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin.
Aye.
I also say aye. Would a commissioner like to make a motion on the certificate of appropriateness, please?
So once again, I move to issue a certificate of appropriateness for the application at 585 Main Street as described in the submitted materials.
Second.
Commissioner Cronin.
Aye.
Commissioner Matthews.
Aye.
Commissioner Clark.
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty.
Aye.
I also say aye. Congratulations. It looks really nice.
Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
You too.
Good night.
God, too bad it wasn't Halloween with no trick-or-treating.
We got the candy right here. And I wore my mask, so it's perfect.
There you go.
Okay. We don't have any matters, I believe, that are not reasonably anticipated by the chair. Approval of the October 18th, 2023 minutes.
I move that those minutes are approved.
Second.
Commissioner Cronin. Aye. Commissioner Matthews.
Aye.
Commissioner Clark. Aye. Commissioner Doherty.
Aye.
I also say aye. Oh, yes?
What is the update on, I know the guidelines and regulations are in draft. And what is our next move on that?
Perfect. Yes, I actually have a note to bring that up before we adjourn. Thank you, Tom. So the design guidelines right now, we're finalizing those public comments. We've done some internal review to try and work on formatting. We're currently working on formatting, but I have been promised that we can get that done fairly quickly. Formatting meaning like where playing with like the horizontal versus vertical formatting of the actual document itself, so no substantive changes. So I think we can commit to having a joint meeting if this group and the planning board agrees. The next step would be a joint meeting of the boards to review this final iteration, and then either, depending on how that goes, you could either move to adopt that night, or we could continue the matter to separate meetings of each fairly soon to make any final tweaks, and then adopt at that point. So depending on how the next one goes, I would hope to target mid to late November. I know Thanksgiving becomes an issue, but I was going to offer to put out a poll to this group and the planning board and see if there's a night that maybe we can make it work. So that would be the target date. And then yeah, adoption soon thereafter. And then as I think I mentioned previously, we were awarded additional technical assistance to work on the signage guidelines further. So, I mean, it's up to the two bodies to decide whether you want to adopt and then come back at a later date to potentially amend to include additional, more robust review of signage. That would be my recommendation, but you certainly can talk at the meeting coming up here. The signage guidelines, I would say, we didn't really take a hard look at it this time around. So I think adding some additional regulations, and also, I could envision something of like a checklist for each of these signage applicants, because that's kind of a repetitive application that we get a lot here with turnover businesses and all that we get a lot of smaller sign applications. So some sort of regulations and checklists for specifically signage, I think, would be appropriate. So that's kind of where we stand right now. Happy to take any questions.
Would this be a meeting in addition to the regularly scheduled meetings, or is this?
Very for one or the other, very likely
Okay.
for the planning board or this board, depending on people's availabilities.
Gotcha.
To clarify for Commissioner Matthews, when we did it before, I think it was on a planning board night, on a Monday night, and I also believe it was by Zoom.
It was by Zoom. I was going to look to see if we might be able to get the big room and just everyone in one
That
room
would be
together.
better.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And Zoom.
That is so.
That's a good idea.
Okay, so that's the goal.
So, and I agree with your suggestion to split the signage out for a separate, that makes sense. I have a question, though. And we have some things that are coming before us now, or have come before us. And it came up as to a question as to the regulations at the time, and things. So what do we go by now? Can we go ahead and assume that the new guidelines that everybody's pretty happy with in the draft form is to use it, or have to
No,
leave it out?
unfortunately, they're not adopted. So
That's what I
think
thought.
that's kind of
That's what
the
I
point
thought.
here, that, kind of getting it done soon, and maybe further amending it down the road.
Yeah.
I think Tom and I had mentioned something about, kind of doing lessons learned too. So, I mean, that doesn't have to slow down any adoption of the regulations and guidelines, but, looking at past applications and saying what works, what didn't work,
Yeah.
and ongoing applications, these are your regulations and guidelines, so you can certainly review and amend as you see fit.
Okay. That's why I wanted it to be clarified, because it came up at a recent meeting, and I thought it was best on the record to get that.
A question.
Commissioner Matthews.
A point of order on, and I just don't know how it works. So, say, for example, we're looking at these guidelines. We want to make sure from now on that we're getting these guidelines correct. Can you legally, or whatever the case would be, pause taking any applications in until those are done, or you can't do that?
No, our charter states certain amount of dates that an application has to be processed and opened and procedurally reviewed.
Okay.
It has to be submitted 2 weeks before the meeting at least, and then it has to be completed within a certain amount of,
Right.
45 days, I believe, is it?
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I believe
Okay.
so.
45 days, so we can't really pause. But if we can get that schedule as soon as I would say before Thanksgiving, unless,
Yeah.
Everyone okay with that?
Women too as well with that. So in looking at, again, lessons learned and looking at what we approved before, is there an opportunity to look at it from a new construction versus renovations? And I think that kind of was kind of resonant when we've been looking at some of the new projects coming in, where if they're using existing guidelines, then yes, they meet all of the design and colors and materials, but if we were looking at it from again, just learning things that are happening now, is there a way for us to identify it? Like, well, new construction, really we would really like to see, especially in the Harbor District and the Main Street Historic, to make it look more of what we would like to see in that district. Somebody said, well, it's a hodgepodge, so you've got all this mix and match on Main Street right now. That's true. So we have existing materials there and existing buildings, but if you're going to put a new building up, to try to give them that guidelines to say, again, the shingles or the Cape Cod gray, what did he call that? The Cape Cod look, where trade winds kind of comes to mind. But right now, there's nothing that we can do about that because we don't have it in a joint guidelines. So, and I don't remember us addressing in new construction versus, renovations or anything like that.
Oh, good.
To me, that's why I think we need to go through all these guidelines again very slowly.
Yeah.
Especially since we, for the last two projects that have been approved. I think we went through very quickly getting these guidelines out there, and we just gave it to this architect. I have a lot more questions now since the last two projects that were planned. Do we need 3 stories all over Main Street? Can we smaller the project for the size of the property? So I think these are all the things. I'd love to narrow it down to 3 windows, 3 doors, and 4 colors. But I don't think we'll ever, going to get to that point, But I think we need larger guidelines, How long can a building be before you need a space, and things like that. So I think we need a real slow look at the draft that we have out there.
Yeah, agreed. And so, again, it can go as slow or as fast as this group wants. We could certainly look at it if you're comfortable with what's there, and you want to get something on the books that's more robust than what we have today. That's certainly a next step you could do, is adopt with the understanding that we're going to continue to look at this further. And then, we can continue on that mission to refine it. I think you and I were talking about, as it was mentioned, I think the other night, the Hyannis Harbor Master Plan. We're going to start that planning initiative. And coming out of that, very likely will be some further guidance, as the harbor in of itself is a separate real district than Main Street. And while this commission's charged with review of all of it, maybe what comes out of it is a Main Street district and a harbor district design.
Yeah.
So that, and you could piece it down to new construction in the harbor and renovations in the harbor. We could certainly break it down to that degree. And I think it's a challenge right now, because what we have is on the books at the moment is a very broad 12-page design for the hodgepodge that is there now. So taking that iterative step, I think, is an appropriate step. But yeah, I agree. Continuing on that mission and further refining it makes sense.
Jim, can I ask you to send out to all the commissioners an up-to-date copy of those where exactly where it is, so we all start off on the same place?
Yep.
As I know, my notes from it before are probably on what's there, but I know I have so many notes on it, and things are going to be changed and tweaked and whatever. So
yeah, we received a lot of great comments. So it has been updated substantially. I could send that out there in terms of the verbiage, but just know we're working on headers and footers and all kinds of fun stuff that will, move stuff around.
I'm a visual person. Could I get a hard copy?
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't look on it line.
people want it sent, mailed to them or emailed to them?
Email, for me, email's fine.
I'm okay with email.
Email's fine.
Email's fine, but I can pick up a copy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Just so we're all up to date and versant with the, when we have that meeting.
Could I just have one more comment of something that happened, and we just saw that 201 Main Street, the one we
We
approved.
probably should not identify actual applicants, but we know in the past,
in the
previous
past.
one,
And
yeah.
how does that work where they get approved through all of the approvals, and then they, before it's built, they can sell it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, outside of even this commission, yeah, absolutely. A lot of times, this happens in the development world. You build up a property, you get the permits have value, and you look to see if anybody's interested in paying for that value. Otherwise, you then go and construct it. So you do see that quite often. They have to adhere to everything that is in the regulations, in the approval, in the plans. And a lot of times, what we do is whenever a transfer of ownership, we then have essentially like a pre-construction meeting with that
Okay.
new group to say, you know, this is who we are, and this is what you got to do.
So with regard to that, because there was two steps, there was a demolition permit, and then there was the construction. So how long do they have to do the demolition? Because that's something that we did approve, rather than waiting for a sale to happen. It was kind of an understanding that it was going to, I just was kind of really set back by that thing. Okay, but the demolition is what I'd like to know.
I think
What?
that's organized with the town, is it not?
Well, so,
But how
yeah,
long do they have to execute the permit before it has to be resubmitted? Or
Yeah, I'll take a look at it. I don't believe there's a sunset on the permits, but I can take a look at it and confirm. I'll let the commission know.
I don't think there is one on there. And just to piggyback on what Jim was saying, because it is a historic district, if you have a property, the reason why sometimes they'll go ahead and get the permits is because would somebody want to buy the property and think, well, I want to do this with it, but I might not have to, and I get stuck with that property. But if the permits are already in place, it's like, ooh, all right, that's already there because it transfers. Permit is there for the property. Anyway, any further questions? Nope. Okay. Less than an hour tonight. Did good. I hope everyone had a nice Halloween. Stay warm. It's getting cold out there.
certainly
I
is.
would entertain a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn?
Commissioner Doherty,
Aye.
Commissioner Clark.
Aye.
All right, yes, aye.
We really want to stay. How much longer? Commissioner Cronin.
I've got candy, what else do I need?
We like you too. Commissioner Cronin, was that a yes?
Yes, aye.
I also say yes. We are adjourned.